Brisulph, JPop, match number 2, game number 1, best of 5. Here we go.
12 days ago, JPop set a new PB at 5:45. He actually beat you by a second, Jack.
Yeah, but I don't grind PBs because I'm lazy.
I
I
don't
should,
grind.
though, apparently, according to a few people. Maybe I'll put in a couple attempts later today. Who knows? We shall see. Manipulations done for both. Razor Shield versus Razor Shield. Good firing lanes from both here in the first room. Weak invulnerability drop for Bry and just a nuke there for J-Pop. No feat, which is what you'd like to see as a, bonus drop in the first room. But it's not the end of the world if you don't get 140 versus 40. We're pretty much even here going into collect power-ups.
Yes, indeed. Of course, now that you've mentioned the sneakers, how quickly are we going to see the sneakers?
Well, haven't seen any yet. Rockets, followed by more rockets for J-Pop. And I have to say, J-Pop, pretty darn good with these rockets there. That's going to get him out of here pretty quickly. There's the first pair of Jordans there for J-Pop. And even more rockets. No orb, unfortunately, but J-Pop going to have a pretty sizzling time coming out of here. Collect power-ups. Going to be a 117. Brisulph just putting in the finishing touches here. He's going to be behind 8 ball, surprisingly. About 5 seconds back right now. Going into Eat My Shrapnel. Both players without the orb. That'll be the drop we want to see as they get to work here.
Good use of invulnerability on both of their sides to just immediately take out the swirly there without dying.
Yeah, it definitely helps out. Lets you be a little lazier in this room than you normally are. This is definitely the easiest room of the speed run. Things can get a little interesting, though, if the drops are as bad to you as they are for J-Pop there. He's trying to just make sure that 4 shrapnels never enter the room. That's the main thing that can slow you down, but you got to keep on top of those swarmers as well, Drummy.
Yeah, and he's also managed to take care of all the little mooks. So, yeah, he gets to move right on pretty much timed with Brian there.
Yeah, lead evaporates because Bry got a quick orb there, whereas J-Pop did not. Rockets for Bry, and
And the
meanwhile, just
Razor.
a spreader. Razor for J-Pop is all right, but still no orb. RNG favoring the favorites, as it seems to do early on here in this second matchup of the day.
The game decided it had given Brian enough and gives him a key instead.
Yeah, but at this point, I dare say that Bry has everything he needs to get through this room here. Rockets now as a little bit of a bonus there. Smart Bomb, a little too early to end the room, so Bry's just going to... No, he's going to give it a try, but going to need to take out a few more Swarmers here. Rockets for J-Pop will keep him alive, but really needs to see that orb. Bry into the bonus room at a 2:51, very hot time.
Yeah, cleaning up with the Razor Shield, all great. You probably could have knocked those off on the Shrappy there, but very end of the room, not really would have mattered too hugely.
Little grimace and shake of the head from J-Pop there. Not too happy with how this is going so far, but still sub 310 into the bonus room without an orb. Nothing wrong with that. Hasn't done anything wrong. The game just has not given him the same quality of drops as Brisulph so far.
Yeah, Brian has successfully taken out the guys on the wall, and now he's just trying to reclaim the middle. It's definitely going to help being
That was
alive
a
with
clutch invulnerability for Bry. Both
Yep.
Scrappy's exploding at the same time. Bullets everywhere. Makes it so he doesn't have to do so much of a dance. He's just able to focus fire on the swarmers and not worry about getting taken out by just a stray piece of whatever. Rockets for J-Pop and an orb is going to get him back in business here. Still has a lead to overcome against Bry here. Bry controlling the middle effectively. J-Pop as well. More rockets for J-Pop. He definitely wants to see more of those. Bry's going to be into the mutoid room with a teensy bit of a spreader at about a 408. As J-Pop continues to work tank trouble here with just the orb and the pea shooter now. He's not going to be too far behind Drummy, 419. Both sub 420 going into mutoid. That's pretty much seen as, the elite benchmark. If you're consistently sub 420 going into mutoid, you're going to win a lot of races in this tournament. Bry goes for the ball buster and gets it, and now he's going to try to manual spreader and gets run over immediately. Lobber for J-Pop. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Barely even interrupted his fire to land that ball buster. Great play by J-Pop here, and he's going to take the lead with that lobber. And a lobber refill for J-Pop, lobber for Bry, both working the lobbers now. gift of a spreader here for JPop. Huge opportunity to pull ahead here. Second arm down for both. There's a spreader there for Bry, but he's going to work a little bit more of that lobber before he goes for it and tries the manual again. Not getting run over this time, but also not landing the bonus shots too much. We got a glitch toyed on JPop. Chest pops for Bry, so back to even Stevens here, Drummy.
I do like how Brian was going out of his way to save the spreader as much as he could and grab those empty drops off the ground, hoping for a shield to appear. It did wind up happening, but he was playing extremely smart to try and keep the dream alive right there.
Head pops for both here. JPop doing some pretty good manual use here. Good firing from Bry. Thank goodness he still had that invuln, otherwise Mutoid would have run him out. JPop very slightly ahead going into the final form. We got a doozy of a finish on our head here.
It's also on his
into
head.
more grenades for Bry. Better DPS than lobber into spreader, which JPop unable to get. A mistake not picking that up. Bry, by the skin of his teeth, is going to take game number 1. Very, very close here. It's a 6-10 versus a 6-12. JPop pretty happy with his performance. Saw a little fist pump there, but immediately after, the done from Bry comes out, and now we see, no, I just missed it. Unfortunate.
It was a fantastic ending, and let's hope for 4 more of those. What do you say?
4 more? How about 5 more? Let's have one that's way too close to call, and we got to play a 6th game as a conservative.
Okay, as long as they play it and I don't, I'm down.
Well said, Drummy.
And also, don't forget to get your predictions in, folks.
Yep, the Gamblies are up in the chat. I'm already seeing a lot of channel points being thrown out there. Can win a lot of cool emotes and stuff here at GG Speedruns. Both of them getting ready to go. We've got the ready. I'll give them the countdown.
And I will wait patiently.
Patience is a virtue, Drummy, and I'm glad that you have it.
I do? Since when?
Well, you said you were being patient, so I'm taking you at your word. Was I mistaken to do that?
I don't know. I mean, patience is debatable.
All right, game number 2. Contestants set entering Arena 1. Let us smash some TVs.
You know, there aren't exactly a large amount of TVs in this game. Really, it's just the host, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Not really a lot of TVs, even as far as prizes go. We're only in Arena 1, though, so we're not seeing all the prizes. Unfortunately, there will be no full year supply of good meat for anyone to be won. Definitely the best prize, if you ask me.
I believe it's
38 for Bry and a 40 for JPop going into collect power-ups.
I love the combination of meat products and a lawnmower. I gotta tell you, that's just great.
Instant giblets.
Absolutely.
Speaking of giblets, gotta love just how everyone that you defeat in this game just explodes in the gibs. Early rockets for JPop again here in collect power-ups, and I'm very impressed with his rocket fire. Very good. Not wasteful, keeping everything under control. Bry getting to work with rockets. His rockets look better than I'm used to seeing from Bry. Kudos there, bud. Early orb for Bry. He's going to cruise out of here at a 1:20 and going to be about a $1.24 for JPop there. Shaking his head a bit. Little bit of a messy cleanup at the end there, but still in good shape. Needs to see that orb earlier in this game, and he does. First drop in this room. We got ourselves a race, Drummy.
Woohoo! And we got ourselves a key.
No, we don't. That key was left to disappear into the ether for all of eternity.
Not the ether. It's not where I keep all my stuff.
You can keep your weed in there.
I don't have any weed.
Ah, disappointing. Well, Bry learned how to count, so he's done the room right at the door as he takes out the last Shrappy. And a few rockets to get rid of the... Oh, Bry, a little bit of
Ooh.
trouble there. The orb betraying him, leaving some open spots there, but he's able to avoid disaster and get even more rockets to get started here. And even more rockets. I love rockets. Don't you love rockets, Drummy?
I like rockets. I like missiles. I like RPGs. They're all good.
Yeah. Ooh, and don't forget bazookas. Bazookas are cool, too.
Oh yeah. Although isn't that technically an RPG? Or no, it's a shell as opposed to a rocket-propelled grenade. So yeah, okay. Then I also
Yeah,
like bazookas.
slight difference. We're arguing semantics here. Both runners controlling the center exceptionally well, but those sizzling rockets, Bry, into the bonus room at a 250. Gotta love it. JPop, good firing is going to keep him in this race. 257 into the bonus room. Again, not a terribly large lead. We can see when both racers have an orb, it's been fairly close. Only real difference, Bry's just gotten a couple more rocket drops than JPop so far.
And he's used them more, arguably more efficiently to be able to just clear as fast as he could. One shot, take out an entire line, and move on.
Oh, J-Pop's rockets and collect power-ups were very good here in this game number 2. Bry getting to work with his weapon there, picks up the nuke to take care of the second gunner. J-Pop just going to fire those spreaders around, keep the swarmers under control, takes out one gunner, and this is more how I would play. Take my time getting rid of the gunners, try to keep the swarmers under control. A risky strategy, but in J-Pop's case, definitely worked out. Razor shield for Bry, but it's in a bad spot, so he's going to elect to ignore it. A nuke for J-Pop, and he's going to wait it out and grab it at a beautiful time. 2 shrappies and a tank on the screen. That's how you play those nukes in this room. Bry going to be out at a 4:01. Great time. These rockets are going to finish it off here for J-Pop. He's going to be into Mutoid at a 4:10. Advantage for Bry, but very, very good arena play from both racers here, Drummy.
Yeah, I mean, he only lost about a second with inferior drops, so you really can't argue that he played extremely well in that room to try and close the gap. Lost the 1 second, but given the garbage it gave him.
Yeah, pretty darn good spreader here for Bry. This is going to get rid of at least the arms for Bry here. Meanwhile, J-Pop going to work just with rockets, so lead starting to grow here for Bry. Takes an intentional death. There's a weapon somewhere. Oh, there it is. It's just a lobber, though. And an empty drop for J-Pop, and just like that, the huge RNG swing is going to give this one to Bry pretty much. This spreader is pretty much going to get Bry to final form. And if not, he's got a refill up there because why not? Bry elects to take the death, but just a little too late to grab the refill there. Maybe a bit of an opportunity to J-Pop, but he needs spreaders yesterday. Last week, even.
Yeah, as the chest pops, Brian's onto the last one, and he wisely. Oh, I thought he had. Ooh, I thought he was going to pick up the grenades to use that as the final damage push there instead of lobbers.
Looks like he tried to, but I think he just missed them by a frame or two, so now he's going to have to pound away with the lobbers. Grenade's actually the best weapon against Final Form Mutoid in terms of ease of use. Same DPS as the lobbers, but just a little bit easier to land all those grenades on the Final Form. And Bry gonna cook this one with a 544. We've seen so many sub-6s already today, Drummy, from racers on both sides of both matches. This is a great day for Smash TV, and therefore the world.
And the items dry up. Oh, there's a lobber. Okay, so J-Pop still looking to finish this one out.
Yeah, at this point, you might as well finish her out, you're just playing for pride at this point. And, it's really... J-Pop did absolutely nothing wrong in this race, Drummy. He just did not get the same quality of drops that Brisulph did. The entire difference in this one is straight up RNG, and anytime you lose a race in Smash TV to RNG rather than play, all you can do is just shake your head. You can't feel bad about it. That's just the nature of the game.
Yep. Speaking of the game, let's gear up for number 3.
All right, our racers are getting ready, and our countdowner is getting countdowny. Okay, countdown has been given. They will be off and running here. Can J-Pop get just a little bit of help from the game to make this a match, or is Bry going to just cruise from a few gift drops to make this a sweep 3-0 victory? Let's find out here. Game number 3 underway here on GG Speedruns.
Curious if J-Pop is going to change up any of his strategies. Yeah, is he going to start trying to grind the door instead of the middle? Things of that nature.
I don't think J-Pop needs to change anything. He just needs to get a little bit luckier because he's done absolutely nothing wrong so far.
I agree. I don't think he needs to change, but it's curious to see if and when people decide they need to change. So I'm just curious, is he one of those types? Or is he just going to nose to the grindstone? I know I got this. Mutoid, give me this.
Yeah, we are dead even going into collect power-ups. 40 versus 40. It's time for the RNG to spin its RNG cube, because you totally spin cubes. Who's going to get that first spreader? Who's going to get rockets to clear out the room? Let's find out.
Well, a smart bomb and shoes aren't exactly doing any favors. Razor's not bad, but there's the orb for Brian.
Well, Razor and Rockets means that J-Pop actually has a better combination to get through this room quickly, but is going to need an orb to keep pace with Bry once we start getting to Total Carnage. And you can see it right there. The Rockets and the Razor Shield is going to propel J-Pop to an early lead despite not having the orb. You definitely want those power-ups and collect power-ups over the orb, but you also want the orb for long-term gain. It's a very dicey, balanced situation.
Well, now he's got his orb, so here he comes. And a Razor Shield. He can just post up in the middle and pot shot the Shrappies at that point. He opts not to take it, though. Okay.
There are reasons why you may not want to take the Razor Shield in this room. If you're really confident about your fire, you don't want it because you would technically lose about half a second by not being able to be right at the door when the room ends. It can be hard to break the Razor Shield against the Shrappies when you got an orb. You maybe don't want to risk losing that orb. So J-Pop slightly ahead, going into Total Carnage, both with an orb. I said it before, but I'm going to say it again. We got ourselves a race here, Drummy.
All right. And he's keeping his firing lines clean. He's not going out of his way to try and do excess movement. He keeps them all reasonably marching straight at him. Oh, the smart bomb's not helpful, though.
Lose a bit of time on not being able to spawn more dudes into the room, and the room wasn't particularly full, but whenever the smart bomb's in the center like that, usually it's just better to take it and get it out of the way rather than try to dance around it and lose those good firing lanes, because that'll just allow the room to fill up, and you don't want that.
Fair enough. And the quicker next item drop, for all you know, it's going to be rockets and you steamroll.
Yeah, Razor Shield for J-Pop, unfortunately right at the end of the room, so not going to do him a huge favor there. Definitely Rocket the better drop of the two for Bry. Still very close, though, about a 3-second lead for Bry, and we've got yet another opportunity for product placement. Take us away, Drummy.
Oh, Taco Bell, Taco Bell. I don't remember the next line, Taco Bell.
Taco-flavored kisses?
Kazuna.
Bry with some rockets to work these gunners early on here. Great way to get established early on in tank trouble.
Well, speaking of rockets...
And first drop rockets for J-Pop, so RNG not really playing too much of an issue in this race so far. That's the way we like to see it. Let the players play their game. Let it be the best man wins, not the luckiest man here.
Well, speaking of the
Both
luckiest...
getting very good drops and controlling the center here. We could be set up for a very good finish, unless Mutoid Man just wants to decide who wins the race again, Drummy.
Well,
Look at this from J-Pop, a 4:05, pulling ahead of Bry by a few seconds. We are trading leads room per room in this race. We're going into Mutoid Man, both with a healthy orb. Let's see what happens. First drop is going to be the lobbers for JPop and waits on it just to get rid of the swirl. First drop is going to be rockets for Bry. Spreader opportunity for both. JPop elects to go manual while using his lobber. Bry is going to take the death, and he's going to get to work here with the guaranteed extra damage. Second arm pops for Bry just a bit ahead of JPop. That second arm should be popping anytime. Maybe not. So Bry ahead here, chest pop. Yeah, we've got a form and change lead for Bry now.
J-Pop's been seeing lots of drops, but they're not lobbers. They're all inferior weaponry, so he's just keeping pumping everything he can to try and get the next drop and hope it's a spreader so he can catch up.
Yeah, and he did have a lobber opportunity there, but unfortunately for J-Pop, just not quite hitting that sweet spot on Mutoid with the lobber. Even though Bry had a couple lesser weapon drops, he's made good use of his lobber fire, and that's why he's ahead right now.
Yeah, I mean, overall,
You could say that, you know, Bry did get that gift spreader, but early on in the Mutoid fight, J-Pop was making his lobber shots count and kept it close. But then the second lobber he got, he wasn't quite hitting that sweet spot, and that allowed Bry to pull away, despite getting most of the job done just with rockets and grenades. Little fist pump from Bry as he knows that he's got this done. Sizzling 542. And remember, outside of that one spreader, Bry really didn't get a whole lot of fantastic drops on Mutoid. It's just good play, and a swing and a drive, deep left field, no doubt about it.